Hey guys, SH here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at Dynasty Warriors Online. Now, actually, I'm doing something a bit different. If you can't already tell, I am actually voiceovering this entire thing. This is kind of like a test video, a little bit. I mean, I'm still going to be talking about the game a lot, but it's also just kind of inform you guys, see what you guys like a little bit more when it comes to actually seeing like the live gameplay or me just kind of cutting to specific areas and kind of talking about them. So the first thing that you should know about this game is that it is free to play. You can go download it right now, you can go sign up for an account, you can just do whatever, you can play it right now for free. You could download it and be done within like an hour and be playing some free Dynasty Warriors. And it's actually really similar to Dynasty Warrior entries if you kind of take it a little bit of liberties with it, because it is going to be a little shallower. And that's already kind of bad, like a little bit, because I don't want to say like bad, but because the games are already kind of shallow and not much changes over the course of the games. So yeah, okay, but the game is free to play. You can go get it right now. One of the first things you're going to notice when you first create a character is the ridiculous grid that pops up, and is kind of how you choose which side you're going to start from, because you choose like a hometown, and there's just like a ton of stuff, and I think it's just really there for novelty and for the sake of just letting you choose like a hometown based on your favorite character. Alright, so we got character creation here. Now after you choose your starting zone and you choose your side, you'll be in the character creator. Now, there isn't really a whole lot here to mess around with, aside from like maybe color paletting things, but there's really only going to be like 7 to 10 options for each little category they have, and they don't have very many categories. They have like face, like scar kind of stuff, and and hair. That's pretty much it. The one other thing that they do have is actually voices, though, and voices are really good in this game. They are actually authentic Japanese, the Japanese track voices. No English here. It's very nice, because I just can't even imagine what it would have been like if there was English voices in this game. It just would have been bad, I think. Or maybe not, I don't know. Just the voices generally weren't that good in the series as a whole, so it's always a little tough to say. So right after you create your dude and make him look like a badass, or try to anyway, you'll be thrust straight into the tutorial pretty much. So the tutorial is actually really long and drawn out, and there's a ranking system and all this stuff, but basically, the tutorial is just going to teach you the basics of Dynasty Warriors, which you already know by now, probably. If you're probably going to be playing Dynasty Warriors Online, you probably know, that's a lot of probablys, you probably know that the basic everything about Dynasty Warriors. I know that they changed things from like additions to additions, but they don't really change that much. The series has pretty much remained the same since like Dynasty Warriors 2. So when you're in the tutorials, you're gonna be faced kind of with just the basic of basic things, like, oh, I'm gonna teach you how to move, and oh, I'll teach you how to normal attack, and I'll teach you how to do normal attacks into special attacks, which is really helpful, I guess, if you don't have any idea what you're doing. Now, one of the things that it is going to teach you that like nobody probably knows is that you have to pick up these kind of container orb things during battle. During the battle, you're going to fight normal enemies all the time, and randomly they're going to drop orbs. And there's this hierarchy kind of leveling system with every weapon kind of having a unique thing. And you can kind of power up yourself passively in that specific battle. And, for example, they give you a spear. At least I got a spear. I don't know if it's the same for other people. You can only create like one character if you're just playing for free. So you're going to have like a spear or your one weapon, and your first weapon is probably going to be your most powerful weapon because it actually has like statistics that you can upgrade passively and not just randomize things. So basically you can look at the weapons and see that they have like a 1 through 7 leveling kind of system for when you're in these little skirmishes. And like the spear on mine has like question mark for number 1, and then 2 is like attack, and then 3 is damage. So you know that the first one is going to be really random. It could be anything from defense up, from attack up, as in like the ×2 bonuses you would get randomly when you pick up stuff, or max speed. And since it's the first level, it's also going to have the least amount of time, so it'll only last for like 5 seconds. So yeah, you get those orbs and you power up yourself passively during the battles, and that is one of the things that the tutorial does teach you that you do need to know, or else you will get your ass handed to you pretty fast, I think. The main thing you're probably going to be participating in is from the melee battle receptionist, who is in like every district, and she just gets you into a quick match. It could be anything from like KOs, like the most KOs, who defeats the most officers, kind of PvP, who captures the most bases, and generally these are going to be 4 versus 4. Now when you get into these matches, it puts you, if there isn't already one that's already loading up, then it's going to put you into a new one, and you'll be there by yourself, and then there'll be like a 30-minute timer, and you can wait there for that long, or you can start it by yourself. At any time, you can always do everything by yourself. But the bonus of having other players is, well, for one, it's more competitive, and competitive is good. For 2, you'll actually get rarer items. Go figure. If you get more participants, you'll have more likelihood to get better items and gear and stuff like that. So you kind of want to try and wait for people, but if you're just there to mess some dudes up and veg out, then doing things on your own is fine. You still get items and stuff like that. It's just not as likely. But if you're into Dynasty Warriors, then it's fine. Now, this game kind of takes the Strike Force approach, if you know what I mean. It kind of gives you a town, and there's dudes in the town that can do stuff for you, like make weapons. Like you got your blacksmith, and you got like your clothes dude, and your dye place, and everything like that for customizing your characters. Now, except for all that stuff is true, but this does not play like Strike Force at all. It plays like a normal Dynasty Warriors game, as in probably anything from 2 to 4. I guess it would be normal. It plays exactly like you would expect Dynasty Warriors to. There's just not any flying or anything like that. So one of the other features is you actually have your own house that you can kind of furnish and store your weapons in and stuff like that. You have like a weapons rack and like a drawer for clothes to equip, and you can actually get new furniture throughout the game or buy it online. It's up to you, really. So let's talk about the questing system for a second here. The questing system is actually kind of unique in that, like, you kind of pick up one individual quest, and then you go to this receptionist kind of guy who will let you choose which quest you want to go on. Now, from what I already kind of saw, there are some hard quests. Like, I already failed one. Like, I just found like the first one I found, and I failed it like on the first try. And it's because the structure of it was set up. Here, I'll tell you about it. So basically on this quest, I'm here to find some guy's like missing loom or whatever, and he was gonna give it to me, I think, at the end, so I'd have like a new furniture piece for my house. And so in this battle, it gives you like a 15-minute time limit, and you have to capture like 8 bases. And every time you capture a base, you would have, or like the bandit would come out, and you'd have to kill him to see if like he dropped it, I guess. But later in the mission, it's determined that it wasn't random at all. You just had to capture 8 of the bases, and then after all that time, which, I mean, it's going to take you a while to capture all these bases, because the way you capture bases is kind of dumb sometimes, and takes a while if you're doing it by yourself. And so after you get all these bases, then they appear, and there's like 4 new generals in the middle of the map. So you go to the middle of the map and you take on these dudes, and you kill one, and he's like, "Oh, I wasn't the guy. I'm not the boss." And you kill another one, the same thing. You kill another one, same thing. And then finally you find this guy who's like way more powerful than you, and there's like no way you could defeat him in like the minute you probably have left. So yeah, I kind of failed that one. I walked up to him and he hit me like twice and I died. And there's like no, I was like fully powered up by this point too. Like there's like no way. So that was kind of unfortunate. Obviously I could just come back and do it later when I have like a better weapon or something like that. But still, it was a little annoying to run into something like that so early in the game, like right after tutorials, which takes you way longer than it should. So one of the last things I want to talk about is actually the fact that this game supports controller use, and you should do this. There is no reason not to use a controller for this. I know it's a PC game, but they F it up so hard with the controls for basically make it all keyboard and like no mouse at all. You can't like rotate the camera with your mouse unless you're like not in combat and stuff like that, and it's really just bad. I didn't like it at all. But you can plug in a controller. I just plugged in my PS2 controller pretty much, and you played it like a regular Dynasty Warriors game. Now you can change the controllers out of game, like when you get your little screen pop up before the game, there's options to change the controls and stuff like that, and I highly recommend you customize the controls, or else you're gonna have a difficult time and it's not gonna be as fun. And I like the game, to be honest. I kind of like it. Like, I haven't been playing Dynasty Warriors at all, really, and Dynasty Warriors is kind of one of my secret pleasures of... I just like just to waste dudes in big groups. And, yeah, the core Dynasty Warriors experience is here. And if you like the idea that you can passively upgrade your dude alongside other dudes in Dynasty Warriors, then you're probably going to like Dynasty Warriors Online, and you don't really have anything to lose. I mean, it is free to play. You can go and play it right now and get your Dynasty Warriors on if you've been missing it. If you got the itch. You got the itch for some Dynasty Warriors. Yeah. Dynasty Warriors. Well, alright then. That's going to do it for this little first look at Dynasty Warriors Online. It's free to play. You can go play it right now. If you like these videos, please thumbs up, sub, give me a comment, all that stuff, because it makes me happy inside. And don't you want me to be happy? Don't you want